Hey guys, it's Sil. I'm going to be doing a review today instead of one of my doing my makeup videos, which is why I'm all made up already today. I'm going to be doing a review, kind of semi-first impressions, mostly kind of review, I've used it enough now, of the e.l.f. 100 color palette with the marbled shadows in there. I've never really used marbled shadows, so it was a new thing for me. I got it 50% off. So, to start, clearly it's got pretty decent packaging, you know. I'm having a hard time getting it to stay shut. I got it backwards here. Like when well, no, that was facing the right way. Like I'll click it down and it'll pop right back up seconds later. And I think it got like dented somewhere along the way. So inside you've got your 100 colors of eyeshadows. With several, like I think there's at least one marbled one in just almost every row. At least every other. Just the main reason I bought it was for those. I really like marbled eyeshadows, the idea of marbled eyeshadows. So, you can see it starts over here on this side with kind of the lightest neutrals, and it goes to darker neutrals here, getting into kind of the orangey colors. Is the fourth row. It has some like a cranberry color, which is really pretty. Then going into yellows and oranges, then a row of greens, and a row of pinks. It's kind of a tan up at the top. And then we've got purples and blues, and then grays and whites, gray, white, black. It also comes with a mirror. I'm gonna here's the mirror, and two little sponge tip applicators, which I hold on to. You never know when you'll need them. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch a couple of colors. My usual camera place. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch a few. I think I'll do... Since there's 10 rows, I will do 10 swatches. That works. So let's do... I'm going to do the white from the first row. There's that. And it's fairly pigmented, nice and white. I usually use the whites from the e.l.f. palettes as a brow bone color because I'm pale enough that honestly it suits me. From the second row, I'm going to do this gorgeous kind of peachy, salmony, orangey color. And it's got a little bit of a kind of shimmer to it. And it's really pretty. And here's what it looks like on my arm. And it's really just kind of turns a little more orange, but it's got a little bit of a salmon tone to it, so that one's really nice. And the next one is kind of the brown row, and I'm going to go ahead and do this nice matte brown. It's like the fourth color down. They're all fairly soft. There's this one. This one does not swipe as well, and it was a little tougher to pick up the color, but not by a bunch. It wasn't like super hard. The next row, I'm going to go ahead and do that kind of pretty cranberry color. I just like the look of that. And look at that, that's beautiful. And it's that third color there. And it definitely has a lot of color payoff, nice and soft, smooth color. Row number 5, I'm going to do, up at the very top, the first color in row number 5, is this kind of chartreusey, yellowy, greeny color. It's really interesting. Look at that. There's all kind of a gold hue to it. This one's another one of their kind of almost metallic ones. And it's definitely not my color. It doesn't flatter my skin at all, but it's gorgeous. Now in the green row, I'm going to do this marbled one. And it's got kind of a copper and green together. I'm kind of curious to see how that'll look. Kind of gives it a duochrome kind of look once it's swatched. It's got the green and the copper in it. Mostly turns out this kind of muddied color. I don't think that was their best choice color-wise to put together. They're just going to muddy together, unfortunately. But it is an interesting color. In the next row, I'm going to do this kind of hot pinky, reddy color. Wow. Look at that. That is a gorgeous pink. Right there, across the back of my hand. Bam, color. I like it. I've been in a super pink mood lately too. So the next row, I'm going to go ahead and do another one of the marbled ones. It's kind of a gray with that's almost the same hot pink as the other color. So that'll kind of mute it a little bit. And there it is. And this one is a little bit less of a color payoff. Kind of not as cool as it could be, but you know. Can't all be perfect. This is, I mean, this was normally $10, so I got this for $5 with the coupon I had, so I can't complain too much. So the next row is the blues, and I'm going to go ahead and do this. The first color in this row, it almost looks like a denim blue, kind of metallic-y though. Oh wow. I like this one. It's kind of icy in a way. Nice and sparkly metallic. I'm a big fan of sparkle. I don't know why. I just am. And the last row is the black and white, black to gray, or white all the way to black. And I already did the white on the other one. And these whites are pretty much identical. I think one of them slightly, the first one I did is slightly warmer by maybe a hair. They might be identical. And I'll swatch them next to each other after I get a swatch from this row. For this row, I'm going to do the second one down. It looks like this really light silver. And it turned out a nice light silver. There it is. It's a little hard to see, but that could be because I'm so pale. It might just be disappearing into my skin. So I'm just going to make sure I have nothing left on my fingertips here. Alright. Get some of that remaining powder off. So I'm going to compare these whites now just to see, did they give us duplicate colors? Because otherwise I don't see anything that's a duplicate. I see a lot that are really similar, or like one's pretty much an identical color, just it has shimmer or more of a metallic finish to it. So I'm going to do, this is from the first row, and then on my middle finger I'll do the other white. So they look pretty much identical. We may have gotten repeat whites. Honestly, so 99 colors that are different. Yeah, they're pretty much identical whites. If they are different, it's so subtle that you're not going to be able to tell a difference. But it can't hurt to have an extra white. You can use one, you can blend stuff in with that one, and not worry about muddling the color as much. And all these swatches along my arm are completely primer free. And I use the e.l.f. eyelid primer. I don't own any other primers currently. And I can guarantee they're going to be gorgeous over that. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and grab my eyelid primer. And I'm going to test out a couple of colors over the primer. So just kind of, When I do my makeup, I do a lot of swatching on my wrist just to test the color of whatever I'm going to put on my face. So let's try one of these greens. I'm going to do this kind of second to the bottom one, kind of a darker green. That's what it looks like. And that's what it looks like swatched over primer. Gorgeous. It really has a lot of color payoff there. I'm going to do from the first row this kind of light pinky color, almost like a pinky, almost skin tone-y color. It kind of looks like it could be a good blush if it was bigger. And I'm going to do this metallic purple. It's kind of right in the middle of that purple row. And just look at that. That is amazing. And I'm going to do one from the blue row. It's this dark metallic-y blue. I've been in love with this since I got this palette. I pretty much want to do something with this blue. Wow. I continually get kind of shocked by how good the e.l.f. eyeshadows have been. They really do have a lot more color payoff. I hear some people really can't stand them, but at least what I've tried out of the palettes, it's amazing. I own quite a few e.l.f. palettes now. This is my second large palette. I also own one of the beauty books and one of their little black beauty books. And I also just got, which I will be doing a review of later, 2 of their collections that have all sorts of stuff in them. I got the kind of, what is this called? Sorted kind of master collection thing, and this is quite a few things in here, including bronzers and blushes, and then another smaller one which is probably going to be gifted because it contains just about all the same things as that larger one, but it doesn't have all the same things because the larger one has more. Now, with this palette, my main things I'm not liking so far is, as I said, I close it and it just pops back open, so it can't stay closed. It's like it got dented or somewhere, because it did when I very, very first opened it. However, I do love the idea of marbled shadows. I'm not actually sure how you're supposed to apply them to get the effect you're supposed to with marbled shadows. I've been playing around with them, and mostly I just let them blur together, and they come off with an almost duochrome kind of effect. In fact, let's see. Let's find one here on the blue row. It's kind of this coppery, goldy color with blue. It turned out mostly blue. It's lightly speckled in that one. And this one, not a lot of color to it. But you've got 100 colors. You're going to not have, I'm not counting on all of them being absolutely amazing. And there's a lot of them that kind of remind me of bananas. Like, fourth one down in that very first row, it's a kind of light tan and a slightly darker brown. And it turns out to be pretty much gold. And it's really pretty. That one's kind of metallic. Some of the marbled ones are matte, and some of them are shimmer or metallic, which is a nice variety. I definitely appreciate the variety of it all. Wow. That blue just really wants to hold on. I do like that it comes with a mirror, so you can just kind of grab this, grab a primer. It's got those little sponges if you really want to not have to carry anything else. I feel like I need a primer for my eyeshadow. I'm picky like that. But you could grab this and just go. Especially if you're not a big eyeliner person, or you can just toss it in. It's big, but I carry a messenger bag, so I will say. But for travel, I mean, it's got a lot of the things you need. You don't need to bring a mirror. You don't need to bring as many things. I appreciate that. I do feel like it's not necessary. With my other palette, oh, here it is. With this one, it doesn't have the mirror, so that helps. And I did a text review of this on my blog, fadeintothenight.tumblr.com. If you would like to read my opinions on this 144 color palette. It's the bright one rather than the neutral. I'm not a big neutral girl. So if you have any questions about this palette, or any questions about what I'm wearing, anything else, leave a message or a comment or whatever else it could be called, and I will definitely get back to you. I love answering questions. So yeah, I feel like this was a pretty good purchase. Has colors that the other one does not have, like the marbled and different metallics. So thanks for watching.